And good morning and welcome into another edition of the Real Monica Adams Show. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. You know, when you're walking out this morning, I'm just going to let you know it is very sticky. Hold on. Very sticky and very, very humid. So, yes, it's lower from a temperature standpoint, but it's going to get up there. And in fact, I would tell you to probably grab that umbrella. We'll check with Beckett here in just a second to see if we've got some storms headed into our area. And if so, what's the timing of those? And are they going to be damaging? Is there going to be hail with it, etc.? We'll tell you about all of that. We've got some good news you can use. Did any of you watch the U.S. men's soccer game last night? Wow, was it a good one? It went into penalty kicks. And a lot of you know that I used to play soccer. That's when I loved it the most. I mean, most people are like, oh no, sudden death, all of that. I thrived on that. So I kept watching and going back into my years of playing soccer and thinking, okay, they're going to go this way. They're going to go that way. And sure enough, it was pretty much us calling it right before they did it. But wow, was it a good game. And here's the tie, by the way, to our area. Now, spoiler alert, U.S. men's team won. And on Wednesday, they're playing right here in St. Louis at Energizer Park. How cool. And I'll let you know how to get tickets, all that good stuff. How are the Cardinals doing? Have they been winning? Well, we'll talk about that. And if you are a fan of meteors, today is Worldwide Meteor Day. We'll talk about some other things that are in the National Day of. As you also see in the description, we are excited to introduce you to a friend of ours. He actually was just next door to our office for a little while. And now we're going to introduce him to you. His name is Mike Vernacci. Now, Mike is going to talk about a lot of things. He was a firefighter. So what you see actually in my description is firefighter to excavator, clearing the debris and massively changing your life. And you'll understand all of that as we talk with Mike in just a little bit. So a lot is on tap. Again, good morning to all of you as you're just signing on. Do us a favor and share the show. Let everybody know that we're on multiple platforms. What are those? Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, Rumble, and LinkedIn. So you can watch on many platforms. Find the one that works the best for you. If you haven't been introduced to our friend, our aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore, we're going to do that with a segment we call What the Weather.
Good evening from St. Louis, Missouri, and it is a beautiful one.
Well, good morning, first of all. Beckett, are you at your cottage or are you back home?
Back home for today. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Well, now, just before I went on, I saw some videos and pictures that your mom had posted. Did you make your way back and go to Six Flags?
Yes, we did. So we were at our cottage on Saturday, and we made our way back yesterday to see my brother, who operates a real antique steam engine at Six Flags, so which is pretty cool.
It is absolutely cool. I saw that and I was like, wait a minute, I think that's his brother. He's the, because
Yeah.
your mom was like, with the cutest engineer ever. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. What else did you do this weekend?
Yeah, so on Saturday, I was at my cottage. I worked at the concession stand there, and then, yeah, on Sunday, we went and did that, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of you know, but Beckett has a job now. What are you doing?
I work at the concession stand at my cottage over in Illinois.
And what do you do there, though? Are you just like serving up?
Yeah, scooping ice cream, and then there's some microwave things I have to make, and just getting people sodas, candy, that sort of thing.
You'll always remember your first job. We all do, don't we? All right, I'm going to have to come and get an ice cream from you.
Yes, that would be great.
Okay, I was just talking, Beckett, about how it is extremely humid. It's very sticky out there. And I thought I saw that there was a possibility of some storms headed our way. So I'm going to let you do your thing. Let us know what the timing of that is.
Yeah, so looking at the current conditions right now, we do have a temperature of around 73, which is not that bad. But like Monica mentioned, we do have a dew point around 70 there at 69. So it is pretty sticky out there today. And we are expecting a couple afternoon and evening thunderstorms as we head later into the day with mostly cloudy conditions right now. So today's forecast, again, 73, mostly cloudy this morning. Heading into the afternoon, 90 degrees, mostly cloudy, although we could see a couple showers and thunderstorms move into the area by late afternoon, but the main time frame is going to be late afternoon into evening for maybe a couple thunderstorms and showers around the area. And then our 7-day forecast, again, for today, 90 degrees. Those late afternoon, evening thunderstorms will be possible with mostly cloudy skies for the rest of the day. 71 is our low. Tomorrow, a high of 87 for your Tuesday. And we have a long stretch of sunshine with highs near 90. And then looking towards 4th of July for your Independence Day, high in the low to mid 90s with sunny skies. That's pretty good. Nothing we can't handle. And then a rain chance next weekend for your Sunday.
Okay, well, Beckett and I were messaging back and forth on social media before we came into today, and I was telling him we had a lot to talk about. Look at this. I just Googled and was looking at the tornadoes. I don't know if a lot of you saw this. If you haven't, you definitely have to see a video. I would tell you to watch Reed Timmer's video because it is mind blowing. It's about 13 minutes long. So you saw all this also, or South Dakota and like near Minnesota area as well, right? Tell us what your thoughts are on these tornadoes. Absolutely, and I was talking about Reed, and he was saying that in his 30-year career, he had never seen anything like this. It's hard to watch. I said it's awe-inspiring and kind of mesmerizing at the same time. And then did you also see this proposal picture?
Yes, I did. That was just amazing.
It is, and guess what? I've reached out to them. The two of them are storm chasers. So Paige and Bryce wrote me back early this morning. We're going to try to have them on Wednesday. But yeah, I don't know. Everybody that storm chases, they freak me out, Beckett. Do you feel the same way? They get a little too close to it.
Yeah, I do for sure.
Anyway, so we're going to have them on Wednesday. But before we do that, Beckett, before we let you go, I don't know if you saw this, but I'm going to make sure that you see something that's right on the lower left-hand side of your intro. Did you see this?
Great. Oh, is this sponsorship?
It is, my
That is
friend.
so
You know, I have been
awesome.
looking forward to this for a long, long time. And let me introduce you to the man who is wanting to sponsor your segment. And we want to further your education. So, first of all, I have a surprise for you in just a second. But let me introduce you to Mike. Mike, you want to say hi to Beckett?
Hey Beckett, how are you, man?
Hi, thank you for sponsoring.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Isn't he great?
He is great.
I
Yeah,
mean, you would
Thank
never
you.
think that he's been on with us for about a year and a half now, and he's just getting ready to go into sophomore year of school.
that's amazing, man.
I know. Think back when you were a sophomore.
Oh,
What were you doing?
playing football and driving circles around Pacific in my Dodge Neon.
Well, again, so Beckett, you know that we've been looking to try to get a sponsor for you for a while now. I was coordinating this with your mother last night. So if you check your mom's Venmo account, there's some money in there for you as we want to help further your education with the sponsorship with Mike.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
Absolutely, Beckett. Keep it up, man. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Becca, that just gave me chills. I cannot wait to introduce the two of you in person. So we'll have to make that happen as well. My friend, we love you. Have a fantastic day.
Sounds good. You too.
Oh my God, that was fun. All right, we're going to have a sit down. Everybody, by the way, do me a favor and welcome him aboard because he's one of our latest sponsors. So the name of your company is
Gradeworks.
GradeWorks LLC, and we're going to tell you all about where you can find them. And there you go. And then all of the information that you need, we'll tell you all the services that he has. But we're going to find out more about him as a person because that's what I really love to do is to tell you who the person is behind the business that you support. So sit tight. We're going to do some news for you first. But again, everybody, welcome Mike aboard, please, and thank him for furthering our sweet Beckett Moore's education. I think this is the coolest thing of all. Okay, let's get into some news you can use. We're going to start off with a Hall of Fame horse trainer that has passed away. A lot of you might recognize this man, D. Wayne Lucas, a winner of 15 Triple Crown races. He passed away at the age of 89. His family said Sunday that he died over the weekend on Saturday night at his Louisville, Kentucky home. He had been hospitalized with a severe MRSA blood infection that caused significant damage to his heart and digestive system and worsened pre-existing chronic conditions. He devoted his life not only to horses, but to the industry, developing generations of horsemen and horsewomen and growing the game by inviting unsuspected fans into the winner's circle. Again, anybody that has anything to do with the horse racing community probably knew him. Again, D. Wayne Lucas, Hall of Famer, became one of the most accomplished trainers in the history of horse racing and a face of the sport for decades, has died at the age of 89. We also now know the cause of death that has been released for visionary Beach Boys leader Brian Wilson. So you remember we told you this story just a couple of weeks ago. Now we're getting more information on this. The cause of death has been released. The death certificate, first obtained by TMZ, lists respiratory arrest as his main cause of death and also listed sepsis. Associated factors on the death certificate include a neurodegenerative disorder, obstructive sleep apnea, apnea, chronic respiratory failure, and chronic kidney disease. His family posted the news of his death to his website and social media accounts back on June 11th. Again, he passed away at the age of 82. So we always like to do follow-up stories for you to that one. I know a lot of you love the Beach Boys and loved the sound of Brian. So here's some of these stories that we give you in the news you can use when we talk about recalls and changes. This one has to do with your jelly. Do you like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? Well, Smucker's is changing things up, and I like this. J.M. Smucker plans to remove artificial colors from its jams and other products by the end of 2027. The Ohio-based Smucker said it will remove synthetic dyes from foods sold to K through 12 schools by the 26-27 school year. The majority of its products, including its Uncrustables sandwiches, are already free of the synthetic dyes, but some products still have them, including the sugar-free jams and ice cream toppings. But again, making some changes and being a leader in the industry. I absolutely love this. Way to go, Smuckers. Obviously, as someone that's in the health and wellness industry, I love taking all the dyes out of things and at anywhere possible. Okay, bike helmets. Take a look at these. Do you or your kids have them? They were sold at Target, at Walmart, and Amazon. They're being recalled. It's Bell Sports Axle, Cadence, Rev and Frenzy children's bicycle helmets. The helmets were sold nationwide at Walmart, Target, Academy Sports and Outdoors, in addition to online retailers like Amazon from September of last year through May of this year for about $20. If you have the helmets, you can get a full refund by uploading the photos of the helmet with the straps cut off to Consumer Report Bell at bellhelmets.com. Again, Consumer Support Bell at bellhelmets.com. All right, you know I'm very big on drinking water. In fact, when our guests come in, we say, would you like some coffee? Would you like some water? Well, now this is an interesting one to me, and I'm going to have to dig deeper into this. We might even have to do a show with one of our favorite dietitians about this. Water may not be the most hydrating drink for you, says who? Researchers from Scotland's St. Andrews University have compared the hydration responses of several different drinks. While many Americans may reach for water when they get thirsty, the study suggests it may not be the best option. Researchers at the university found, ready? Milk is a better option for hydration. They said milk has sugar and fat and protein, all of which help to slow the emptying of fluid from the stomach and keep hydration over a longer period. Milk also has sodium, which acts like a sponge and holds onto water in the body. This one kind of blew my mind. So, all right, if you feel like you're dehydrated next time, milk. Milk does the body good. Okay, this one was very interesting. I saw this on social media. Look what happened to Beyonce. You know, a lot of artists like to do all these different fun things. You know, Pink, she does all of her silks and gets into the air and all around the stadium. I remember seeing Reba McEntire one time in like a plane and also coming out in a taxi. Well, Beyonce was stuck on that flying car prop during her concert in Houston. The unexpected happening. The superstar was in the middle of that performance at NRG Stadium when a flying car prop malfunction. The videos showed what appeared to be the car tilting in midair as she stayed strapped into it. Eventually, she was lowered back to the ground, and when I saw that video of her being lowered, of course, it was met by elation from all of her fans, but that could have been a little scary, right? Adam Sandler fans, I looked into this one a little bit deeper for you this morning. He's got a tour, and it's a new stand-up comedy tour that has been announced for 2025. It's called Adam Sandler, You're My Best Friend, and it kicks off in September. You know, he had successful tours in 22 and 23. He released a comedy special on Netflix in 24, Adam Sandler Love You. It was his first comedy special, by the way, in 20 years. Netflix also teeing up for the release of the long-awaited sequel of Happy Gilmore, starring Sandler, on July 25th. Not sure if you knew that. Tickets for his tour are on sale through Live Nation and Ticketmaster. And as I mentioned, I looked deeper into it. And if you look closely on that right-hand side, you will see he is, in fact, coming to St. Louis. So mark your calendars if you want to go and see him. As mentioned, tickets are already on sale. He'll be here on October 17th. Okay, I mentioned I had a chance to stay up and watch this one last night. If you're a soccer fan, did you watch this? This was unbelievable. So it went to a tie, and then it went into overtime, and it went into penalty kicks. And yes, the U.S. men's team win. And that look on his face, that is the goaltender. It was amazing because he really did show up big time. U.S. and Costa Rica freeze, leading U.S. to the Gold Cup semifinals. The final in penalty kicks 4-3. So now the U.S. men's team is coming to St. Louis against Guatemala, the Gold Cup semifinals. And I sent a link to Jenny. She's going to put it in the comments for you of where you can purchase tickets. And I did just look. The lowest I can see here is $147. The highest I'm seeing is about $586, but tickets are still available. The game will be on Wednesday at Energizer Park. And again, if you're looking at something you want to go do, you want to bring the kids to that. Again, a little pricey for the tickets, but if you're a big soccer fan, you might want to go see that. Again, U.S. and Guatemala. I hope we get a chance to say that the U.S. men's team comes out victorious. How about the Cardinals? Look at this. They are on fire, coming off of another win, this time 7-0 against the Cleveland Guardians. The Cardinals and the Pirates now. The Cards are still on the road. Game time is at 5:40. And then National Outfit of the Day. Okay, that's one of the three things happening today. I mentioned earlier, it's also not only National, but World Meteor Watch Day. And then Social Media Day. I think that's interesting for the majority of you. Isn't Social Media Day every single day? Yeah, maybe it shouldn't be. Just you scroll and scroll and scroll. But we love social media because without it, we wouldn't be able to come to you through all these wonderful platforms. So there you go. That's how you do it. If you're new to the show, we like to give you some news that we think that you might want to use or talk about, and no negativity, right? And we leave the negativity to the old business that I came from. I'm not going to give you anything negative. If there is something in the world that we feel might hurt your heart a little bit, it's only because we want to find out what we can do as a community to get it better. Okay, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, you already saw him, but now we're going to go in depth, and we'll find out more about GradeWorks LLC. What are all the services that they provide? Again, welcome him on board, please. Mike is our brand new sponsor, and we're going to introduce you to him when we return.
Carroll House Furniture Homes look the best because of our free design service. Our designers please your taste.
Let's reimagine your room with 50 brand name choices.
We'll create a 3D design with a 360 view for your room.
Free design services are just the beginning. Free 0% financing, fast free delivery and setup, and the guaranteed lowest prices in the country with no stipulations.
You'll get a perfect custom floor plan for your new dream room.
Carroll House Design, because you like nice things.
Welcome back again. Happy Monday to you. Hope you're having a great day. We'll shoot some comments back and forth. And any of you that want to welcome aboard our latest sponsor, remember, we couldn't do it without you watching and without people like Mike Vernacci. Or he said he Americanized it. Vernacci is how I was saying it again. But Vernacci is how he says it, if that matters. Mike Vernacci with GradeWorks LLC. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And Mike and I sat down a couple weeks ago and started talking, and I was like, wow, what a story you have. So we're going to go through that in just a second. But you and I actually first started talking about this back in the fall of last year, right?
Yeah.
But I love God's timing.
Right.
Because you went out on your own how long ago?
2 months.
Right.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have been the right time. And that's the whole thing that everybody always has to know about things. We're going to go back though. We want to find out more about Mike and again, about his company. And so I always ask you to support those that support us. So when you need any of these services that he's going to tell you that his company provides, please remember him and support him. And of course, tell your family and friends about him as well, because he is now our sponsor of our What the Weather segment. We'll get some tips from him, etc. But let's go back.
Okay.
So you used to be a firefighter.
Yeah.
For how long?
A total of about 20 years.
Well, first
Just
of all,
over
thank
20
you.
Years. Thank you.
Thank you. So was that one of your very first like career jobs?
Yeah, actually, I started doing that when I was still in high school. I
Oh my
was,
gosh.
17 years old and a student at Pacific High School and carried a pager back when we had beepers.
Yeah.
Carried a beeper and then the firefighter pagers that beep at you. And I would, for certain calls, I could leave school and go to the fire.
Really?
Yeah.
I was just saying, oh my gosh, what were you doing at this age? Well, here's
Yeah.
this guy's like, wait a minute, wait till you hear about me. I started at 17.
Yeah.
So when you were a little boy, did you think, oh, I want to be a firefighter? Or how did that come
Zero.
about? Zero?
Zero interest. Actually, what I do now is what, as a little boy, I wanted to do. And then one day in high school, I was sitting next to a friend that had the beeper I was talking about, and it went off, and I was like, "What is that? What are you doing?" And so I just kind of started hanging around the firehouse and getting to know some of those people, and then eventually was welcomed on as a, I guess, junior firefighter. I wasn't 18 yet, so couldn't have been called a firefighter and had no skills or certifications. So I was fully relying on the firefighters that I was following around and learning from.
Oh my gosh. And again, what an amazing career. First responders, we have to thank them on a daily basis. The things, you truly are heroes, the things that you all do and see. And that's really something that Mike and I started talking about when we sat down a couple weeks ago. And he's like, I did it, Monica, for 20 years, but it's the things you all see, fire, police, it's the same thing we think about for all those heroes that fight on the battlefield for us. And it has to take its toll on you.
Oh, absolutely.
Mentally.
Yeah, mentally, physically. I mean, my body's, beat up. I carry around a lot of heavy things and climbing up and down a lot of ladders and structures and things. So yeah, lots of stuff that's hard on your body.
Like that picture on the
Yeah.
left. Is that what, I mean, is that a test training or is that
No,
real?
that was not a training. That
Oh
was on
my
the side of
goodness.
Highway 70. Yeah, I worked for Abbott Ambulance at the time, and we were hauling a transport team for one of the youth hospitals. I don't remember which one in the area, and we had a blowout on the side of the road, and so that was us waiting on our wrecker because we didn't have a spare tire on the ambulance. So waiting on the wrecker to get there to
Oh my
change our tire
goodness.
for us. Yeah.
I mean, you look back at the 20 years and there's so many things that you have to do as a firefighter, the things you see running into buildings. What's the helicopter picture on the bottom right?
So part of my career in fire and EMS, I spent at Cardinal Glennon in the emergency room.
Okay.
And this is actually looking out from the emergency doors towards the helipad where they land, and that was always something really neat to me, was to watch the helicopters land.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, you think about some of the things, and you guys really, my husband always says this. My husband's a lieutenant with the county police, and he's like, firefighters are always looked at as the heroes, and the police officers are always looked at as the bad guys. I'm like, isn't that a shame? Because you're both heroes.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
you kind of agree with that, probably being in the field, right?
Absolutely. It's always fun banter to go back and forth, right? We have guns and hoses where we like to
Yep.
try to beat each other up, but it's all in fun, man. Everybody is, for the most part, is out for the greater good, and
Yes.
and doing a lot of things that most people don't have to think about.
Absolutely. Again, if you're just tuning in, Mike Vernacey with Grade Works LLC, which we'll get to in just a second, but we want to tell you his story. And then please, as I said, in the comments, just drop in, welcome him on board. He's one of our latest sponsors. And again, putting his name behind one of our youth that's coming up through the education side, going into maybe meteorology, or now he's kind of bit by the bug of politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be very interesting to see. But we're all, at some point going, oh, I think I want to be this. He wanted to be in what he's doing now when he was young, but God took him on this path of firefighting. At some point, though, you said you remember, was it in a hospital room that you thought, I can't do this anymore?
Yeah. I had already started looking into other career options and getting into construction, and there were lots of reasons: money, hours. I was working over 100 hours a week just to feed my family. When I was working in an emergency room, this was not all that long ago. It was $13 an hour.
Oh my gosh.
And that's across the board. Fire and EMS both are, and police. I mean, all first responders are definitely underpaid.
100%. I will say amen to that.
And so there was, towards the end of my career, I was in an emergency room, and we had a little baby come in.
It's okay.
Some of those things don't ever go away. They stick with you. And it was a SIDS case. There was nothing. There was no ill will done. Nothing bad had happened. It was just one of those things that unfortunately it happens. And my wife was pregnant at the time, and I have 2 boys. And I looked at that baby, and that was enough.
Too close to home.
Too close to home. I had been there. I had done that. I had seen it. 16 years old, 17 years old. When you get off of a fire truck and somebody's body parts aren't attached anymore. That's a hard thing to process, and so doing that for so many years, it definitely takes a toll on you.
It has to, Mike. And again, I said it's okay. And we've got some Kleenex here nearby. And I want to appreciate this about Mike. And it's one of the things for all of you men I want you to pay attention to. When Mike was in here, he was talking about, Monica, this has been tough, or this has been tough. And I've been through this. We've got much more about what he's gone through. But the thing that I love is that you're speaking it out. And one of the things that he said was how difficult and how dangerous it is when anyone, but especially men, bottle it up and hold it in.
Oh, 100%. This is new to me. And I give a lot of that credit to my wife. She is very, very supportive. But I've kept these things and many other things very bottled up. I'm a man. I'm not supposed to talk about my feelings, and we're supposed to be tough. But I'm here to tell you that's not good. It's
No.
not healthy. I found myself in the darkest points of my life, keeping those things bottled in, wanting to take my own life. And I can't imagine doing that now, and that it just to talk about it and to get those things off of your chest is an unbelievable weight that will come off.
And again, Mike just gave me information I didn't know. You are one of, I don't even know how many men since we've started the show that have come in, sat down in the chair and said, yeah, Monica, I went to those places in my mind and in my heart of, I don't know if I want to be here. I don't know if I want to live another day after what I've experienced in life. And again, as Mike said, he's been through a lot. What is your wife's name?
Lauren.
Yeah. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you for every woman or man or child or senior, whoever is behind someone who says, honey, we've got to start talking. There's a beautiful picture of the two of them. When did you get married?
Actually, our 11th wedding anniversary was Saturday.
Oh, well, happy anniversary.
Thank you. She spent it with my sister for her bachelorette party.
That's a good woman. So, yeah, we've got some beautiful pictures, by the way, of your family. Yes. So 11 years. And then how many children?
We have 3 children. I have a 20-year-old and 17-year-old boy from my first marriage. And then we have Finley together. She's 7.
Oh my gosh, what a beautiful family.
Yes.
And again, that's the support system that we all need. And so when you just say what you mentioned, which was, I didn't know if I wanted to be here. I didn't know if I wanted to live another day. And then you look at what you have, that's when it really brings it home of, I can't imagine that I wouldn't have experienced all this joy.
Yeah, my family, Lauren, Chase, Braden, Finley, that's what
everything.
Got me through everything.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And always will.
I thank you for, again, saying that. And we're going to take you through some emotions today. And I want you, by the way, do me a favor and thank him for being so raw and real. And all of you men that are out there that have seen other guys say these same things. If you are sitting at home and you have the emotions bottled up and you've never let it go, Mike's going to explain to you why it's important to do so. We're going to take a real quick break. When we come back, there are many things. Again, that's not the only thing that Mike has been through. You sent us some pictures of you being burned. I don't know when this was, but we'll get to that. And then we'll talk about some other things that he's overcome. And then as I want you to see, it's always how the story plays itself out. And now look at him here. He's got a big smile on his face. He's sitting here saying, I took it upon myself, decided to go out on my own. I mean, this incredible turn of a story when you erase the debris in your life is just amazing. All right, don't go anywhere. More with Mike Vernacci. Vernacci?
Vernacci.
See, I want to say Vernacci so bad. Vernacci. Mike Vernacci when we return.
When you want to feel good, you work out at Crunch. You don't go here, because here feels bad. But here we help you feel good, feel strong, feel rejuvenated.
Join Crunch Fitness today.
Discover your full potential with a personalized styling experience. Designing, customizing, and transforming the looks of men and women. Revamp your individual style and embrace what makes you, you. That's real confidence.
And welcome back once again. If you're just tuning in to the Real Monica Adams Show, thank you so much. And I want you to welcome aboard Mike Vernacci with Great Works LLC. If I say Vernacci, it's because my mind wants to go back. He said, but it's just like many things. Our last name is Quentin because they Americanized it, but it really is Quentin.
Yeah.
It's got this French connection, which I think sounds better.
Vernacci, yeah. And actually,
call me Quentin, I'll call you Vernacci.
when we go to Europe, we just say Vernacci because nobody's going to say it right.
Mike Vernacci, that's how he says it. Yeah. And the name of the company, Great Works LLC. Again, we've got where you can find him on our social media pages on Facebook. Are you on any other
right now, just Facebook.
On Facebook. So follow him and subscribe to his page on Facebook so you can see all the services that they have, as well as the website. So it's GradeWRXMO.com. And we'll talk about all the services they do. But if you're just tuning in, he is now the sponsor of Beckett's What the Weather segment, which again, you can see the smile on my face. It just makes me so, so happy because I've been wanting to have this connection with him for a long time. He just does so incredible, great work that I wanted to have somebody behind it. And so Mike's like, yes, let's do it. Absolutely. So yes, so you will be seeing him more and more with these tips. There it is. The What the Weather segment brought to you by, I mean, isn't that awesome to see your company, right?
That is really neat. Yeah.
Again, furthering the education of our youth. So if you haven't had a chance to, you can welcome him on board. But before we do that, we're continuing to talk about some things that he has overcome. And I'm going to look at your comments. Again, any welcome aboard to him or anything that you want to say to him. We'll look at comments now. We'll make sure that he sees your comments if you watch this later as well. I was talking at the break about these pictures that you provided for us. So when did this happen?
So it was 7 days before my son's 4th birthday, and he's 17 now, my son Braden. And this was not in the line of duty. This wasn't at work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was sitting around a bonfire, and a bottle of heat, like you put in a gas tank, it takes the water out of your fuel.
Yeah.
Was thrown into the fire. It was just a mistake, but it was thrown into the fire and the cap was on it. And when the bottle compressed and blew the cap off, that all blew in my face. So these pictures are definitely after I was home. I had 2nd and 3rd degree burns all over my head, neck, my left arm here, some of my leg.
I thought for sure this happened on the line of duty.
No,
oh
no,
my God.
absolutely
You have been
not.
through a lot, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. It was not the line of duty. I was just relaxing at home, actually.
Yeah, and freak accidents happen,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it was just a freak accident. Absolutely.
How long did it take to recover?
I don't fully exactly remember. My mom, so I signed myself out of the hospital, AMA. Another bad thing about first responders, we don't take anybody's help. And so my mom was a saint. I was pretty young. Let's see, that was 13 years ago. So I was in my 20s still. And my mom helped me every day, 3 times a day. I had to scrub my face and keep it clean and get all the scabs and stuff off. And without my beard, you can see mild scarring, or I can.
Yeah.
Most people would never even notice it. But yeah, it was definitely an experience.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you look at the difficulties that you've overcome. Again, what you experienced and saw in the line of fire, truly in the line of fire as a firefighter, and then going through something like that. This was before Lauren.
Yes.
Yeah, so did she say, don't be stubborn like that again? You got to listen to the women in your life.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I've been stubborn again since then.
Of course.
Yeah, but yeah, she's pretty good about getting me under control.
Hard to let go when we're stubborn, isn't it?
Yes.
All right, let me look at some comments that are coming in for you. Okay, Jill, which is Beckett's mom, she said, I lost my wonderful dad to suicide. Oh my gosh, Jill, I did not know this. When I was in my early 20s. So he never got to meet Beckett. Oh my gosh, or any of my kids. Thank you so much, Mike, for being so real and helping to spread the word on strong men being able to push through depression. Couldn't think of a better sponsor.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh,
Thank
I
you
have
very
crazy
much.
chills right now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was meant to be. Jill, I'm so sorry. I did not know that. Me and my daughter and friend were just talking this morning about men keeping things in and not talking about things and how dangerous it can be. Sindra says, I love this. It's a strength, not a weakness, to admit you are not okay, and it's okay to not be okay. People need to stop thinking they need to hide how they feel. Right.
Absolutely.
Rose just said, Mike, are you Italian?
I am very Italian.
That's why I want to call
Sicilian.
it Rose.
Sicilian, yes.
Oh, Sicilian. Now, see, it's even more God winks because Jim's mom is from Sicily.
Yes.
Oh, I love this. I love this on so many levels. So, yes, if you want to welcome him on board, and I'll look at comments that I may have missed earlier in the show, but any of you that want to welcome him on board or tell him thank you again for being so real, there's a lot of things. I mean, there's probably things that we aren't even going to get to today that we can get to as we're going to see him on Mondays and Fridays with his company. So you said growing up that you wanted to be exactly what you're doing now,
Yeah.
but you were in firefighting. So when you got out of firefighting, it was what year?
Oh boy, let's see. Finley was born in 2017, so 2020.
Okay. So just within the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And then you went into roofing.
Yes. So I
Right.
went into no first
Or were you in
actually.
contracting?
Yeah, first I actually had a mix. I didn't work in the emergency rooms anymore. I still worked part-time for fire and ambulances. And I went to school to be an electrician. I went through IBEW Local 1 and got my journeyman card through them, and fantastic education that I got through the union.
Yes.
And then COVID happened. And I got COVID very early on. And just the nature of that time, nobody really knew what to expect. And so they wouldn't let me come back to work without a negative test. Well, 7 weeks and 7 tests up my nose. Later, I was done with that. I was like, this is almost 2 months. I've been out of work. I have to work.
Yeah.
And my end goal was to get into construction management anyway. So I reached out to a good friend of mine that owns Gullet Contracting in Pacific and asked him if he was hiring anybody. He said, no, not really, but who is it? And I said, me. And he's like, okay, come on.
For you, yes.
Yeah.
Anybody else, no.
Yeah, great guy, good friend, and definitely helped me get started in construction management for sure.
And we always remember those that helped us along the way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's there's too many for me to even think about listing those right now. But he was definitely a big key to that, and that's where I really started with roofing.
Okay. So you were doing that. When do you make the decision? Because again, that's 2020 making that shift. And in these last 5 years, was it on your heart to say, I want to be my own boss?
Heavy.
Heavy. Good comment.
I have always had an entrepreneurial type spirit. I like to do my own thing. I like that freedom. And so, yeah, it was definitely very, very heavy on my heart. And eventually it was time. I had started this thing on the side, and it was exploding, and it was too demanding. And so, it was time to step away from working for somebody else.
And again, if you didn't tune in the very beginning, I talked about how incredible God's timing is, and we're both faith-based. So it's, and again, we never push faith on anybody, but just think about this. Mike was with another company of people that was literally right over here beyond these doors. And everybody, by the way, that worked there was super, super sweet. I just loved seeing all of you all in the hallway, but we started talking back then, and all of a sudden, and again, this is, I think, a God wink, he responds to me just within the last month or so. And he's like, I'm so sorry, Monica, I'm not good at this. And I looked and I went, oh gosh, this was October. So October of last year, I had sent him a message and said, so nice to meet you. And yeah, let's talk about some things. But it wouldn't have worked back then because you weren't here now.
Yeah.
And so I just love, first of all, timing. And you have to trust timing of things. So if something doesn't happen in the immediacy that you're looking for, you got to have patience. And then all of a sudden it became time. And when we started sitting down talking, it just was a no-brainer of what he does in the outdoors to pair it up with what Beckett does for us every Monday through Friday, or so every Monday and Friday. So you start this, and where'd the name come from?
We just picked it. So my wife and I we actually started investing in property first.
Okay.
And this kind of started snowballing, but underneath Fernacey Properties, which is really hard when it comes to taxes to mix rental properties, investment properties, along with other types of income.
Right.
And so we decided we need to split that off, and we just started spitballing names, and I don't really even know where this one came from, but it was unique. Yeah.
Great works again. And there it is for you. And I was looking through your website and looking through your social media pages. Again, you can follow him on Facebook, GradeWorks LLC. The website again, gradeworksmo.com. So what are you most passionate about? What do you get lit up to literally say, I can't wait to wake up in the morning and go do XYZ?
just to be a better person in the world, to be honest, to make a difference in the world and show everybody not everything's so serious.
I love that.
But as far as work, we love to do mulching. So I have an excavator. Yeah, there's a picture of one of our mulch jobs there. I have a E63 excavator that's right there on that trailer. At the end of that is called a flail mower, and it's essentially a big grinder. And so we can mow the trees down from the top down, turn into real fine mulch.
I see guys that are in excavating or really any kind of that, and I always laugh and I'm like, it's all when you were little boys and you got to play with toys and you're like, I just want to keep playing with toys.
Yeah, in 8th grade, I was sitting in my science class and they were doing an addition to the school, and that's all that was going on was all the digging. I was like, I want to do that. Why wouldn't I want to do that?
Right?
Every boy wants to go get in big machines and knock things down and dig holes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you started this just a couple of months ago, but it's really blown up. And that was the thing that made me so excited, because as soon as Mike said that, he's like, Monica, it's been going really, really well. And so like, let's do this together and let's just keep growing this. So right now, before this, which now we're getting his name out there through this sponsorship, but has it just been friends, family? How have people been finding you?
Networking. Since from the time I actually with Ray Gullett at Gullett Contracting, he pushed me to get into networking, and so BNI. I definitely have been in BNI since 2020, and obviously with a couple of different companies and different titles, but growing that network has been huge.
Yeah.
And then also joining where we're at, Adventure Unknown. I'm a member here, and the membership base here is unbelievable. I literally joined this place just to surround myself with the people that are here and listen and learn.
Small business lifting up small business.
Yeah.
Well, same thing. I mean, I came over from where our studios used to be, and I said, all right, we're going to come over here for opportunities. And here you go. See, it's connecting and now helping each other. That's what life is all about. We're going to talk more about, again, the services that they provide. He just said he loves mulching. I saw that project. I'm like, look at that. That was a mess.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We're going to talk more about the services, but we're also, and if you have any questions, by the way, for Mike, or you want to welcome him on board, please do so. We love that he's now part of our What the Weather segment. But we're also going to continue to talk about how we overcome in life and how it may not always feel like that silver lining is ever coming for you. A lot of people feel like there's just a black cloud forever over them until all of a sudden they start talking things out and then leaning in on those people that are there to support them. More things that Mike overcame when we return.
This lady got me in the best shape of my life. I literally didn't know that I could be in shape like that. But the amount that she pours into her clients, and especially whenever you get the one-on-one training, it's mind-blowing. I mean, it was really life-changing. I learned so much about proper form, about nutrition, about just being able to invest in myself. I hired Monica to be my personal trainer, which was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
So we're talking about how sticky and humid it is. And again, 4th of July coming up. So many reasons to want to get in a pool. If you have one, maybe in your neighborhood, you got a community pool, definitely take advantage of it. If you have friends or family that are inviting you over, enjoy that. But wouldn't you love to be the person that says, hey, come on over, which is exactly what we're doing. In fact, Beckett and his family, I've promised them for a while now to come over and enjoy our pool. So we're having them over and a few other people on the 5th. I can't wait. Our pool, ironically, and it was built by Just Pools. It ended up, I mean, again, God's winks all over the place. When we moved into our home and we found out Just Pools had built the pool, we were like, well, we want to go support them. And then all of a sudden she becomes a sponsor, which I think was just the coolest thing of all. So yes, they do wonderful work. So if you or someone you know is looking to have a pool built, please support Just Pools. They are incredible. They are the pool and spa specialists, by the way. They're on the West Outer Road in Arnold, 3987. And that phone number, by the way, is 636-464-7110. Go ahead and take advantage of that 10% off deal that they have right now off of the Clear Results chemicals, the toys, the games, things like that. Keep that pool sparkling clean. All right. Welcome back, folks. If you're just tuned into the Real Monica Adams Show, thank you so much for being a part of it. Mike Vernacci is our guest. He is with, again, Grade Works LLC, and we're talking about his story behind his company. So if you haven't had a chance to welcome aboard, please do so. He's now the sponsor of our What the Weather segments. We'll be giving tips and things that we should be doing around our home to make things a little bit easier, or things to be looking out for. So let's talk about some of the other services. You mentioned you love mulching. What other services do you provide?
Trenching, grading. We dig pools. We can dig basements.
Oh, I got to team you up with just pools.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then obviously my roofing and just background. So we definitely still handle roofing, siding, gutters, that kind of stuff as well.
And we've had a lot of rain in the area. Oh, obviously remember the unfortunate tornadoes that happened at the end of May. But I saw some of the projects you were doing that people needed to have their yards graded.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's so many trees down. We've pulled trees off of houses. We've pulled them off of pool houses and out of pools and off of garages and cars and everything else. Thankfully, everybody's been safe, and that's all been done.
That's obviously the most important thing, right? That's what matters. But for those of you that are still struggling, and I think some people are still picking things up, we've got 5 trees that have come down in our backyard. Fortunately, it did not fall on the house or on the fence or near the pool. It was back in the back, kind of common ground area. But if any of you have that, this is obviously what Mike does. So let him do it. What's your phone number for people to get in touch with you?
636-399-4151.
Okay, perfect. And we'll give you that as well near the end as well. GradeWorksMo.com is the website you want to go to for wonderful services that they can do. Again, just a couple of months ago is when he started this. So besides yourself, how many other people do you have working with you?
My amazing wife does all of our office stuff, so takes care of the QuickBooks and keeps me in line financially. And then I have an operator that contracts to me and runs my equipment, and then 2 laborers and a dump truck driver.
Isn't it fun? I always love this when you start and you have this vision and you're like, okay, well, we're just kind of starting. I'd love to have more people, but I'm not ready for that yet. And then you watch the growth. So it'll be fun to see and say, Mike, remember when we talked about this, in the end of June of 2025, now look how it's grown and grown and grown. Because obviously as you get more work, it's like, I can't take all this on myself.
Yeah. And it's, there's times where it's like that now, but I'm just not quite ready. And so hopefully soon in the near future, we'll be able to hire a salesman / project manager and somebody to take some of that load off of me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're talking about his company, but I also wanted to show you when the name of it is From Firefighter to Excavation, clearing the debris and having this aha moment. So he already got really raw and real with us of things that he saw as a firefighter, and I'm sure there's much more, but it was just finally this, okay, I can't do this anymore because it sticks with you. But you started talking those things out. Was it because of Lauren? Or were there other brothers and sisters of your firefighter, days that said, we all need to talk about this together?
No, it was definitely more just growing in my relationship with Lauren, and having somebody that I trusted and was comfortable enough to talk to about those things. Around a firehouse, unfortunately, a lot of times all of us bottle that stuff up and nobody really wants to talk about it other than making light and jokes about it at a dinner table, which is not healing.
No.
It can help in the moment, but it's definitely not healing at all.
No. Do you talk to them and say, hey guys, because I'm sure you obviously you were in a lot of these things together, or maybe in playing light to it, you remember those moments and say, hey, I just want to reach out, or I'm here, or hey, this isn't healthy for you.
Yeah, I have a couple of friends that I still communicate with from both fire, EMS, and also that were in the military, and just we were friends before, and so some minor similar experiences, or at least the situations could be kind of similar in your experience in dealing with them. And so I definitely have those guys that I reach out to and just check in. Hey, are you okay? You need anything? I'm here.
Right.
That's important.
Well, and we talked about that. We talked about the fact that he was burned. He had to go overcome that. Many things that seem to knock you down and you don't feel like you're going to get picked back up. One of the really powerful things, and it was a matter of minutes that Mike sat down and we were talking, and he started telling me, he's like, oh yeah, Monica, I've overcome a lot of things. This part, folks, I want you all to listen to, because there are many of you out there that probably have gone through something similar, and maybe you've never, ever, ever opened up about it. Mike opened up to me and I told him right away, I cannot thank you enough for doing so. And he's like, Monica, I just learned that I can't hold this in anymore. So you are unfortunately the victim of abuse.
Yeah, yeah. For many years, actually as far back as I can actually remember as a kid, and until I was in 8th grade and had my first girlfriend, real girlfriend that we dated for several years after that. And it was somebody very close to me, that raped me, sodomized me, abused me for a lot of years of my life.
And it's something that I never understand. I don't understand how you can victimize a young child. It hits way too close to home. I am as well. I understand.
Yeah.
And I've never really talked about it in a long, long time. Many people in my family and someone very close to us, not personal, not emotionally connected, but obviously someone blood related. And I had to, at some point in life, and I'll have to ask you this question as well. Were you able to find your way to forgiveness?
No, not yet.
It's a hard thing, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a person to judge, right? But this is something that is very different and very. I was a 7-year-old kid, and having children myself now, it infuriates me, and it's always been a huge fear of mine, and for my children, I've had to be very protective, and nobody even knew. Nobody outside of myself and that person had any idea that this had happened to me a good part of my childhood.
Because you felt scared to talk
I
about
kept it to myself.
Or
I was.
what was the emotion for you not to talk?
At first, manipulation is what they do, and so at first I was scared. I was convinced that I would be in trouble just as much as him, and so don't say anything. And I was never a person that wanted to be in trouble. I was a good kid, and it's just something it's hard to let go of.
I absolutely agree. So you were 7 years old, but you said it happened for a long time. 7 to what age?
I say 7. It's as far as
Or
I can
maybe
remember.
younger.
I can remember coming home from a kindergarten play, and my mom having to go to work afterwards and leaving me with this person to babysit me.
Yeah.
So kindergarten until at least 8th grade. So 14.
All right, everybody. I know you didn't see that one coming, but but here he is, right? We've gone through, and this whole hour show, we've gone through emotions of seeing him smile, talking about his beautiful family, telling us that he thought about taking his life at one point, what he went through as a firefighter. But you got to go way back to what really was so hurtful. I think it may have also led you, though, into firefighting to want to help and heal people. You think?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always had like a care for others, and sometimes to a fault will put others' needs or wants way ahead of mine and make myself miserable to do things. And that's a new thing that I've recently like, hey, I love you. I'm going to do this for you, but I got to take care of myself too.
Yes, you do.
And so, yeah, it's all just been a very big growing process.
How old are you now, Mike?
I am 42. I'll be 43 in September.
Yeah, and so Mike had said that at what, 35 is about that age when you said no more. I'm letting this stuff out of me.
I had to. I was actually, I don't even think it was that long ago. I think it was I was maybe 39.
Okay.
It was not all that long ago, and I just had so many things bottled up, and truly at the darkest point of my life, and nobody knew it. I was screaming for help, but not
Silently.
really. Yeah,
Silently.
not really. Inside, I was like, "Why is nobody there for me?" They had no idea that all the battles that I was dealing with, and so drinking, that was I could numb it with alcohol, and so at first it was, you start drinking to celebrate things, and then you think, oh well, last time I drank I didn't think about this, and so you start drinking to numb that pain, and it doesn't do that. When the alcohol wears off, it's worse.
It's still there.
Or even, the thing would be when I'd be drunk, and those emotions would start to come out, and that's too much to deal with. That's just not, that's abusing it, and it's not the right way to handle things. And so 98 days without alcohol today.
Congrats.
Thanks. And
that's huge.
That's another thing that I'll never go back. It's just
How life-changing has that been for you?
Huge. I've lost a ton of weight. I've lost body fat. I sleep.
Mm.
And I'm able to process my emotions the way they're supposed to be processed, and not mask things with chemicals.
I love this guy. I'm telling you, I've got so many chills of things. I had no idea between these rooms and between the separation of walls. It's amazing. That's why I always ask people, just get out of your own way and start talking to people. No, we didn't talk about this obviously back then, but he was led to this show. He sat down, felt comfortable enough to tell me, which you don't even understand what that meant to me, that I was like, oh boy, do we have a story to tell. This is incredible. And I just think this is the most beautiful partnership that is possible. Do you not all? I mean, this is incredible. We asked actually on social media, what kind of stories would you like to see more of? And a lot of people did this. They said mental health and inspiring stories. Why? Because it's truly what everyone, if you're honest, goes through.
Yeah.
You just have to talk.
Anybody that acts like they don't deal with things in their own head is lying.
Yes.
We all have it. It's okay. It's okay to struggle with things and to talk about it. It's keeping it bottled up is not going to do anything.
It's not. And, and I asked that question about if he has found his way to forgiveness. You might not ever. It's hard because you just think, why did you messed me up for so long? I had to find my way to it so that I could finally feel like that debris was completely gone from my life. Never forget.
Yeah.
And you learn from it and you grow from it. And for me as a life coach and counseling people, I think I see it quicker sometimes in people of, I think this person's gone through this and we got to get them to release some of this. But I also had to find my way to it because I realized that it's a true sickness. And what happened to them to lead them to be the abuser? That's where my mind goes. And that's the way I was able to find the forgiveness. I hope you can at some point, but yes, it is a very difficult thing to do.
Working that way.
Yes, good. Don't you love him? Mike, again, Vernacey with GradeWorks LLC. We're going to tell you a little bit more about his company, how you can get in touch with him, and again, support him because he's now a big supporter of this show. Don't go anywhere.
Well, hello, my friends. My name is John O'Leary. I was just on the Real Monica Adams show, and it was an amazing experience for me and hopefully for the viewers and listeners as well. What I found sitting down with Monica is the idea of being real is maybe something we use for social media or website or to separate us from others, but it may not be something you experience very often in the real world. Today, Monica was extraordinarily real, not only with me, but with our viewers and our listeners. And through her authenticity and through her honesty and vulnerability, I followed. It was an incredible conversation. We were real about struggle, real about life, real about endurance, real about family, real about faith, and real about the truth that the foundation is firm, that God is still God, that there's reason for hope, and that the best is yet to come. So for those of us who occasionally struggle with being real or being filled with hope or being renewed in a season of struggle, I can't tell Monica and her viewers, listeners, and producers thank you enough for allowing me to be real during the hour together. So for this time, and until next time, my name is John O'Leary. Today is your day. What a gift it is. Live inspired and stay real.
And welcome back to some of you. We understand that Facebook's evidently having some problems this morning, but we'll make sure that we take this entire show and put it back up for all those that don't get a chance to watch live. So we are still live on Instagram and on YouTube and on LinkedIn and on Rumble and X. So for all of you that are still with us there, fantastic. But yeah, I've never seen that before. But see, you got to love social media. You got to hate social media sometimes. Anyway, if you're just tuning in, we're nearing the end of the show. show, but you're going to see so much more of this gentleman, Mike Vernacci of GradeWorks LLC. Again, our latest sponsor, and he is the sponsor for the first time ever of our What the Weather segment with Beckett Moore, our aspiring meteorologist, which again, we can't thank you enough. So from a tip standpoint for the services that you do provide as a homeowner, what are some things that we should be doing before you come in? Is there anything we can do to help out with the services you provide?
I definitely, so the biggest thing when it comes to storm damage is don't call your insurance company until you have somebody qualified to come look at it. A lot of times we can do it for less than your deductible, and no need to get the insurance company involved. Those claims, you filing a claim doesn't directly affect you right now, but you and your neighbor and the other neighbor, those people all filing claims does definitely affect your rates over time. And so just call a qualified individual before you file your insurance claim.
And then also there's a reason why there's companies like this that exist, because, we just talked about the importance of family, and we need more of the balance of life, and we need to get back to spending them. And I'm calling the kettle black. So spending time with our family, spending time with our friends, the things that you feel like, I don't want to be doing this. That's why you do what you do. That's what he does. And then he'll say, okay, I don't want to do this. I'm going to be with my family on this. It's just like this whole effect that we need to have together. So when it comes time to these type of services, again, let them take it on. Let's talk a little bit more. Let's go through some of these pictures of your wonderful family. Explain them.
So that's my grandpa. We call him Dr. I, Papa I. He is a veterinarian from Michigan. He's in Detroit. So he was in town him and my grandma both were in town a few weeks ago to go to all the Cards Tigers games.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, getting generations together.
Yeah, absolutely.
We learn so much from each other. I don't know if you've probably not seen this segment we do, but it's called Generational Talk. And for me, it's the younger generation to the older generation that we just need to talk more.
Yeah.
And the more we talk, the more is the aha moment of, oh, that's what you meant. I didn't know that. Yeah, we just need to communicate.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Just need to talk more. Who's
absolutely. That? So that is my grandma and me. That
little
grandma,
baby.
Yeah, that's from I was probably 4 or 5 months old at that point. So
again, and we talked earlier. Again, some formidable moments. I'm hoping that you can think. Is that you in a mailbox?
Yeah. My Aunt Gina. I actually just saw my aunt this weekend, and she put me in that mailbox, and we talk about that picture often. Yep.
I love looking back. It's also fun to look back at the pictures from back then and how grainy and yellow they were. I'm like, boy, we've come a long way.
Oh man,
I just wish we would have had these when we were younger. So many things that have been captured, or you look at old photos and go, I can't even make out what that is. Is that me?
Yeah. I wish we would have had those for the photos.
Yes.
Right. But
other than that,
so glad I didn't have social media.
Social media, yes, but I think of some interviews I did in the early part of my career. Like if I had this phone, my favorite interview is with Reba McEntire, just she and I in New York when she did Annie Get Your Gun.
Yeah.
I have it somewhere, I hope, on an MP3 player, so I might have the audio of it, but I don't have the video side.
Man.
I know, and now it would have been so easy. Here, let's film this.
Look, I did that.
Yeah, exactly, and be proud of it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, again, Mike, we want to thank you so much and welcome you on board. So at the end of every show, we do a devotional. Okay. So it's breaking us from things that we feel in our lives. You've told us about so much. So 100 Days to Freedom, that's the name of the books. Mm-hmm. One is from anger. One is from shame. One is from depression. One is from overeating. And then one is from fear and anxiety. What are you feeling?
Fear and anxiety.
See? You don't know this, but that is the one that everyone chooses.
Really?
And but it also leads in, like, these also lead into this. I think they all are kind of together. So fear and anxiety, we are on day 71. So we're almost through this one. The other ones are on days like 30 something. So they're like halfway there. We're going to get to 100 and then we're not going to be able to offer this one up anymore. So day 71, it's called God of All. This is Mike's pick. I am the Lord, the God of all the peoples of the world. Is anything too hard for me? This is from Jeremiah 32, verse 27. Are you a control freak, it says. Here's a gentler way to put it. Do you feel like your life would be so much better if you could have more of a say in how things go? Control, it's a big component of anxiety. When we feel like we have control, we tend to feel less anxious. When we feel like we have control, we again tend to feel less that. The problem is, to really experience true peace, we have to surrender that control. How exactly is that supposed to help us feel less anxious, though? As we practice surrendering control, we learn to discern where we can actually have control in our life. So there are some things we simply have to accept. That doesn't necessarily mean we agree with the issue. It means we acknowledge the reality of the situation. Can you recognize when you are acting as if you control everything and not accepting things as they are? Sometimes it's revealed in our defensiveness, anger, short-tempered responses, a lack of openness to alternative suggestions. When we're able to surrender control, we begin to accept reality. Then we can use our experience, our knowledge, our education, our gifts, our blessings, I always say, to make wise decisions. As we practice surrender, we experience peace, knowing that God is sovereign and will help us through any situation that we may face in our lives. When we know that God's working in every situation, we can accept things as they are and be curious as we seek ways to work for good, and then experience peace as we surrender to his will. No one wants to be a control freak. I can't imagine any of you would say, yes, I do. As you recognize the areas you are seeking to control, ask God to reveal the way of surrender to you and experience his peace. Well, this is interesting. After Mike just gave us this information of how many days sober?
98.
That's what I thought you said, 98 days. Well, this is interesting because in this book from Alcoholics Anonymous, it says, acceptance is the answer to all my problems today. When I am disturbed, it is because I find some person, some place, something, or situation, some fact of my life unacceptable to me. I can find no serenity until I accept that person, place, thing, or situation as being exactly the way it is supposed to be at this moment. That's really eerie that that's in there, right?
Awesome.
Here's today's prayer. Lord God, you are the maker of heaven and earth. Nothing is too hard for you. Help me surrender my need to control, knowing that your way is the best. Provide insight as I live my life in your will for your glory. Amen. I'm telling you, it's very eerie. Some people always go, are you sure that you and your guest don't pick it in advance? And I'm like, no,
I have nothing to do with
no,
it.
he didn't.
I didn't even know
Yes.
that existed until right now. Yep.
It's crazy how that happens, but kind of powerful as well, as so many times anything could be chosen, but I always feel like he ultimately chooses.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, we are excited. One more time, I want you to know how you can get a hold of Mike's business. And so think about anything that they can do from an excavating standpoint to roofing and give them a call. It's gradeworksmo.com. It's grade, WRXMO.com. And then you can also reach out and call them if you are needing any of these services, or maybe you have family or friends that need to do so. So that's 636-399-4151.
That's right.
Checking my eyes here.
That's right.
Just 2 months into his business and already growing strong and growing from there. We're going to get some tips from him, and then you'll see him in the sponsorship again of our What the Weather segment, which is again with our wonderful Beckett Moore. We are thrilled to have you as part of the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Mike Vernacci, or we can call him Vernacci. He's going to call me Contine. I'm going to call him Vernacci. It's our nicknames for each other. Everybody, thank you so much again. Spread the word. Take this and share it with your family and friends. And again, thank him for being on board with us. I thank you for tuning in each and every morning. Remember, the greatest thing in life that you can be is kind. So show some kindness to a stranger today. God bless you all.